Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. You can wait for years as a fan of World of Warcraft for even one really good announcement. One that, for good or for bad, just shakes the foundation of World of Warcraft. And in one day, we get two of them. Let's get into this. So we shall start with the boosting communities. It would appear that Blizzard heard the word community and decided it's time to crack down on this. People gathering, talking, with a common goal. But joking aside, I'm all for the end of boosting. As a paid transaction, be it with gold or with cash, like full stop, just end it. This is not that. Boosting will still happen. And to be honest, I really don't think Blizzard have an issue with that. What Blizzard wish to stop is the huge amount of gold these communities have access to. Because in the end, let's be honest, when the leader of this community is sat on billions, and it is billions in WoW gold, what are they going to do with it? Yeah, that's right. In the end, they're just going to sell it for real money. And that, in Blizzard's mind, is a massive no-no. If you want to pay for a boost with gold, which is still 100% allowed, it's okay to do that, then you damn well better pay for that boost using a Blizzard token. Do you understand me?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
And let's be honest, this needed to be crushed now, because we are about to enter what would have been, and still potentially could be, the golden age for boosting. Think about it, Alliance and Horde able to play together now. They have just added a huge amount of players to that potential boosting pool. Now Liquid or Echo can boost Alliance and Horde players in Mythic runs, making even more gold. If you really think boosting is over, you are very, very wrong, sadly. The guilds still require the huge amounts of gold that's gained from boosting. But now there is no real central location for boosting. You can't go to a valid, well-respected boosting community. Whether you approve or not, you can't go to one of them anymore. What we're going to enter is basically the prohibition of boosting. It's going to be everyone for themselves. But you might be sat there going, what? Hang on a minute, Grim, I was stuck down a manhole for the last week. Don't ask why. I was busy. What are you talking about? Alliance and Horde can't play together, you fool. Well, that is big news number 2. For the future of WoW, far bigger than the change to boosting communities. Endgame content is being opened up for cross-faction. PvP, raids, M+, anything that uses the custom groups, apart from quests, obviously. But, and this is the strange one, not guilds. Guilds will still remain faction only. This, to me, as someone that wished for a return to guilds, I want a sense of community. I want people to be flocking to guilds so we can all have a chat and laugh and bounce and have that community feeling back, if it ever really existed in WoW. Or, you know, I do look across the street at Final Fantasy and think, oh, god damn it. I think this is a huge mistake, not adding guilds to cross-faction. I've spent the last 2 mornings now reading forum posts and Wowhead posts regarding this, and what it tells me, sadly, is that guilds and the perception of guilds is far worse state than I had ever thought possible. People are just happy to leave the guilds so that they can swap from a blood elf to a human paladin. Because, and this is a quote, what do guilds really offer anyway? As I say, for someone that really wished for a return to that community, that wished Blizzard would go all in with guilds and help to rebuild them, this is heartbreaking. To me, I see it that if a player leaves the guild and goes over to Alliance, they are in essence lost to the guild unless there's cross-faction. I understand that, of course, we've got Discord and all that kind of thing, so you don't necessarily use guild comms as much as you necessarily would. Now you can just use Discord. Doesn't matter who's on Alliance, doesn't matter who's on Horde, you can just chat in Discord. But what about things like shared resources? Food, herbs, ores. I can only talk for my guild. But these are all put into the guild bank, and everyone has access to it. If somebody needs something, they can just take it. It's not a problem. Using these materials, we'll craft gear for people once they hit max level. We can get their ults, instantly we just throw them everything they need, 200 gear, and then they can step into Korthia and we'll help them there. We'll craft legendaries for people using these resources, and all of the Korthia crystals people have put in the guild bank. All of that comes from the guild and the amazing people that are in it. You start to pull out these people and throw them over to Alliance here and there. Are they going to be able to have the same community experience? Are they just going to be on their own over on the Alliance side? Are they going to get transfers available to go to a populated Alliance server? Someone leaving to play Alliance, in my head, is kind of like when you got a friend and they're moving to a different part of the country, and you're there and like, oh no, we'll write every day to each other. No, oh, come on, you're my best friend. Of course we're going to stay in touch. And then you turn around and the next thing you know, you haven't spoken in ages. Like, I wonder what that person's doing now. I don't know. I'll just carry on going about my business. Now the funny thing is, the irony would be if all these Alliance players who now don't feel forced to play Horde go over and play Alliance, and they're like, well, do you know what? It may be time that we get together and start making guilds over on the Alliance side. And then you're like, oh, I really don't want to pug. Those Horde players are horrible. Hey guys, does anybody want to run this key I've got? Then everybody in the guild's like, yeah, sure, we'll run a key. And then the whole reason for this becomes completely irrelevant. I get it, again, that's rose-tinted glasses, but it's kind of like, without the cross-faction guilds, I don't understand how this is going to work in terms of creating a sense of community. Because all this really does is potentially lowers the queue time for Alliance. That's it. All this change will do is feed the pug mindset of WoW more, break down the community even more. Now, before I get ripped apart, I would be 100% behind this if the guilds are implemented. I'd be like, go for it, cross-faction, as much as you can, do it. I'm all in, because the potential, well, that opens up the story and everything else, I love it. On an RP point of view, it could be amazing. And this is coming from someone that will never, and I mean never, open their guild as cross-faction. That comes mostly from me being a Warhammer fan. I picked the Horde because I love the grim, dark setting of, like, Warhammer. I picked the Horde because I wanted to be the bad guy. I wanted to be the orcs. They're unstoppable. Like, my favourite character is Grimgor from Warhammer. He's a giant black orc that just lives to fight. But I completely respect the fact that there are some players out there that are not interested in that. And they should have the option, if they want, to play with Alliance players. There might be some that don't care and they just want faster queue times. As long as we're all allowed to kind of do what we want to do, if I'm allowed to just stay Horde only, then that's fine. As I say, it opens up some really interesting story arcs. Why not have it that we have, let's say, a new faction available? Once you hit max level, you're able to join, I don't know, Jaina and Thrall or Jaina and Bane, whoever it may be, and you sign up to this new group. And that immediately gives you access to full cross-faction. Not just Rem Plus and raiding, but like everything. You get cross-faction guilds, the full shebang is open to you. Because that embodies the hope of those leaders. You'd still be Horde, you'd still be Alliance, but you'd also be part of this bigger group that was prepared to be open and work together. But then, if you're like a Horde player and you don't want to be part of that, you want to be, Horde for the Horde kind of thing, then you could join maybe Princess Talanji, who still is angry against Jaina for killing her father, and just everything that's gone on, and that would be for the Horde. On the Alliance side, you could have, I don't know, Tyrande or Gen or something like that, who's kind of not open to fully working with the Horde. Or you can join none, and just stay as you are right now in WoW. And no matter which one of these sub-factions you're part of, you still do all the normal game things, that's fine. Think of it like when, if you were Horde, you had the Sylvanas subplot, where you could be loyalist or not. Kind of be like that. We could have some really detailed Game of Thrones style plots that actually have meaning and longevity. They keep going, twisting through the story. They're never going to change big things. They're just interesting little sub-stories. An example. You're the Horde for the Horde kind of player. You get told that Alliance ship that's in Orgrimmar Harbour, sink it. And then as the cross-faction member, you're told to investigate what happened. We cannot let tension build between the Horde and the Alliance again. You need to go there, work with the Alliance people on the ship, save who you can, work with the Horde dock workers, and come together and try and find out what happened to this ship. And then if you're someone that hasn't picked a side, you're not open to cross-factioning, and you're not Horde for the Horde only, well then, you just are sent there to go and help with the recovery. Hell, maybe have it that potentially you could give the supplies back to the Horde or to the Alliance. And like Fable, when Fable had the dark side or the light side, depending on what you did, it would give you points towards that faction. Towards the Alliance or the Horde. I mean, if we go full into this is how crazy you could go. You could have something like you are fully part of the cross-faction. Yet everything you're doing is leaning towards the Horde. You give the supplies of that sunk ship to the Horde. You're doing little sneaky things for the Horde. But yet you're cross-factioning. You're like a mole, you're a spy, you're underground. You're working for Talanji, but you're cross-factioning because you want to get all your dungeon keys done, but you're still true to the Horde. And you could be vice versa. You're working for SI7, but you're part of this cross-faction. The story arcs that you could have that would spread out from this they're insane, and they'd be so good. And then, of course, we hit Troubled Waters. We hit where the reality of this comes in, which is, like the boosting news, I'm worried this is going to be half implemented, and then left. Players will pay for server transfers, faction changes, only to be abandoned by Blizzard. Just like communities were. Communities were great. For the first couple of months, I was part of so many communities, and they were bustling, and they were interesting, and they were great, and I met so many people in them who were fantastic. And then they were just abandoned. They were never developed more, nothing more was done, and then they just died. And I'm still part of all those groups, and they just sat there dead. Nobody talks in them. The end of boosting and the idea of cross-faction are great ideas that bring so much hope to so many players. And yes, on one side you have people saying that, oh, this creates World of Peacecraft, we're all going to just go around hugging trees now. I mean, granted, on the other side, fear. People that feel part of the core identity of what made Warcraft is being diminished. And then you have people screaming at them, calling them Karens, but shut up! You know, nobody wants to hear about your stupid RP. Neither side is right or wrong in this. It's not that simple. But the sad truth is, with Blizzard's track record, this will either be a flash in the pan, triumph that burns out and is just abandoned, meaning we never get cross-faction guilds. We never get the true implementation of what this should have been. Or worse, this will be so poorly implemented, it will damage the game on a level last seen, I don't know, in Cataclysm, when the changes to guild created toxic cesspool guilds, and in the end, brung about the current age of the pug. But as I said recently, I don't want to end on a downer. I do not believe that just because it potentially could go wrong, doesn't mean they shouldn't try. If there's a 1% chance that Blizzard believes that they can pull this off, then Blizzard, do not be afraid to do it. Go all in. Sure, people on both sides will scream and shout. They'll make drama videos out of whatever you do. But if this is something that you, Blizzard, believe will add to the diminishing player base, either by adding new blood, or by helping gain back those players lost, then go for it. Because no matter which side you stand on, for or against boosting, for or against cross-factions, WoW slowly fading into dust is not an outcome any of us want. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Laters, everyone.